When was the last time you asked a real question? If you're Gen Z in America, the answer is probably never. If you feel like everything is falling apart, well, you are not the only one. Cities that used to be safe are not anymore. Uncertainty is on the rise. What on earth is going on? The answer might hide, not in the answer to the who, the why, the what, or the how, but in the words. Who, why, what, how. For decades, ideological actors slipped into Western education and quietly killed the habit of asking why. Then, through sophisticated gaslighting, they stripped young people of a stable sense of self. A child in Texas expressed individuality and was punished with identity erasure.
I was told if you're good at leadership skills, it means you're probably not a woman. You're probably something else.
A student at UPenn was taught to believe that doubt is an expression of insanity.
Well, this is where critical thinking comes into. This is where you're supposed to be double-checking whatever you're learning.
Well, I think people go to school in order to learn. I don't think they're going to school to then double learn everything on the side. The whole point of going to university is to learn the facts, is to learn the data, not to come in with prior data or spend time outside of class relearning what you learned in class.
I've spent 6 years in classrooms at Northwestern and Columbia. There's not one time one teacher who said, hey, think for yourself, think critically. Do you know how absurd that is?
After 6 years of education in an elite institution, she heard professors telling students to challenge authority, including their own. Don't take my word for it, check the data. The irony? This used to be the protocol in every American school. Never believe a claim without seeing the evidence. If you disagree, argue it and show your reasoning. In the 1950s, this was a norm. Back then, many colleges required logic or reasoning. Professors modeled uncertainty, revised positions live, and invited pushback. Syllabi named the target. Analyze arguments, detect fallacies, judge evidence. The classroom was a contest of ideas, not a recital. Now, especially since the 2010s, the tone shifted from question me to trust the consensus. Teacher colleges reward compliance. Seminars grade alignment. Feeds punish dissent. Logic training gets folded away or dropped. Result? Modern education rewards appearing knowledgeable, presentation, and tone, not internal logic. Conviction replaced reasoning. Journalists confuse activism for inquiry. Citizens outsource judgment to institutions or influencers. Polarization spikes because people never learn to disagree safely. We can feel it. They were smart and patient, we were stupidly blind. History shows what happens when ideology gates inquiry. In Germany, award-winning scientists mocked Einstein for Jewish science. They presented Aryan physics as the ideal, not the evidence-driven method that produced their own successes, but something new and distorted. When aesthetics and politics outrank evidence, discovery stalls. Germany never fully recovered. Whole civilizations can lose their self-correction. If we don't fight back, we can kiss the West goodbye. Critical thinking, innovation, even sanity, they don't survive in a culture that punishes the word why. These are kids who were never told, ask questions, never taught how. People who can question keep their sense of self. They withstand the social pressure that shoves everyone to the lowest common denominator. And the lowest common denominator is very low. Unfortunately, this is exactly what we're seeing now. But can we look in the mirror and say we tried everything? At this stage, losing hope is immoral and unfair. Asking questions is the driving force of civilization, not answers, not slogans. Questions. The skill isn't automatic, it's cultural. It passes through rituals, becomes a habit, and then becomes our backbone. Kill the rituals and society crumbles. Qatar, China, and the rest of the gang didn't give money to universities out of charity. They sold a story. And the story says, no need to ask. You can't think if you don't trust your own mind. Self-censorship, normalized. Humanities training, collapsing. No place left to learn how to argue. Meanwhile, science produces more papers and fewer breakthroughs. That's not progress. That's paperwork. Today, lots of students can recite answers, but they freeze at the only moment that matters. Before you act, ask the question that could change the plan. And one last thing. We are well aware that there are elements in our society that would hate to see people think. We will shed a light on the darkness. They were smart and patient, we were stupidly blind. That ends now. To understand what we have to do, we need to understand how it happened. Everything was calculated. It was done on purpose. Unbeknownst to many, this game of Reversi has been going on since the 1960s, with only one side playing. We must step up and recapture what was lost. No, let's do something greater. Let's win the board. Join us. Fill out the form at the link below, and we'll get back to you with the plan.